So laying on your back, just start to notice how the body feels, how the back of the body feels in contact with the earth, how maybe the air, the space that's in front of the body, how that might feel. And then start to notice the natural rhythm of your breath. So what your inhale feels like, where it's landing. Is it gentle? Is it heavy? Noticing any texture to your breath. Maybe it's soft, maybe raspy. I have Bruiser and Ollie in here with me, and both of them are snoring, so they've got jagged breath tonight. Just take a couple moments to connect with your breath here and just observe it without judgment. No good or no bad, just it is what it is. Yeah, we have a pretty powerful class planned for today. So I'm going to invite you all to tap into the Ujjayi pranayama, our oceanic breath. So to set that up, you'll find like a slight constriction in the back of the throat. And with your mouth closed on your inhales and exhales through your nose, you're going to make kind of a whispering, kind of oceanic breath, an oceanic sound with your breath. And making sure that you're inhaling and exhaling fully. And avoid letting the breath stop in the chest, finding deep breath through your torso. And then setting up a breath pattern that you can maintain for the duration of class today. So maybe that pattern is a 3-count inhale and a 3-count exhale. Or maybe it's a 6-count inhale and a 6-count exhale. But just playing around with setting that up and exploring what feels good for you tonight. Something that's going to keep you tethered to your body when things get challenging or when your mind starts to wander. We're using this breath to stay focused and stay present with the experiences that we're creating on our mat today. Once you have that pattern set up from your back, you're going to inhale the right knee in toward the chest. Reach out your right hand out to the side like a T, and then take your left hand to slowly guide your right knee over your body. Keeping your shoulder grounded on the floor, making sure that there's contact with the earth in your shoulder. So that might mean that this twist isn't super deep and that your right knee might still be floating. It may not even touch the earth. Again, honoring that the need of your body and the shape that your body makes is going to look different than what mine makes or what someone else makes, because all of our bodies are unique. Breathing here. We're going to be focusing on twisting and using the power of our core to detoxify and remove negativity, and negative thoughts. On your next inhale, come back to center, release your right leg long down, back to meet the left. Noticing maybe the difference in the sides now. Maybe you feel something a little different sensation between your legs, or maybe even in your side bodies in your back. On your next inhale, reach your left knee in toward your chest. Extend your left arm out long to the side like a T. And then with your right hand, just gently guiding your left knee across to the right. Keeping that left shoulder grounded. Gaze can be up in front of you, or if it feels comfortable on the neck, you can gaze over the left hand. Breathing here. I don't know if you guys can hear the gentle snores of Ollie and Bruiser over here, but it's so loud in my ear. On your next inhale, come back to center. Release that left leg long. Take a pause and just notice again now your sides. Again, honoring that our sides are different and how the left side might feel compared to the right. And we're going to just sit up, and we're going to get right into some core activities. So go ahead and place your hands, your palms are going to face in, the tips of your fingers are going to face in toward your glutes. Knees are bent. Go ahead and start to rest back and then lift up your legs. Shins are parallel to the mat. Hands can stay where they are, or they can come out to the side to challenge your balance a little bit. We're going to hold for just a couple rounds of breath. And then exhale, plant your feet back down and sit up and pause for a moment. Now, if that was a challenge, you can do that again. We're going to add in some additional work with our block here. So take your block and place it over onto your right-hand side. And then shifting back into our boat pose. And then with that block, we're going to hold it out in front of us. So hold the block in between your palms, and you're going to press your palms into your block. Now, if you have a water bottle, you're doing this with your water bottle, but you're creating some tension, you're creating pressure. Grow long in the spine, reach out through the crown of your head, draw your knees in toward your chest. If you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, you can reach your arms out up overhead, and you can even straighten out your legs. Take another inhale. Exhale, release it all back down to the earth. Take a pause. We're going to do one more round of core work here in our boat pose. So coming back into boat, take your block in your hands out in front of you. Inhale, and then exhale. We're going to lower everything back down to the earth, bringing that block behind you overhead. And then exhale, coming back up into our boat pose. Exhale, release back down to the earth. Take an inhale. Exhale, come back to boat. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale, release down. Take another inhale. Exhale, coming back up. Do that 3 more rounds on your own. Lower and lift. I'm just going to check in on you, ladies. Yeah. Keep holding boat. Yep, that's perfect. There's lots of work to be had just in holding that pose. Beautiful. All right, we all finish in boat, holding that block. We're almost done. Take another inhale, and then exhale, release it all down to the earth. Pause. waking up our core, waking up our center. We're going to be activating a lot in our core today, doing a lot of twisting. And when you're ready, go ahead and roll over onto a side, and then we'll all come up and meet in all fours, tabletop position. Inhale, reach the right hand to the sky. Exhale, thread the arm beneath the left, coming down onto your right cheek. Thread the needle. Left hand can stay planted next to the face, or it can reach and extend out long in front of you. And then just check in with your hips and notice if your hips have kicked over. Mine like to kick over to the left. So see if you can draw your hips back over into center. Option for that left hand too, if you'd like, you can actually wrap it around your low back. It might change the sensation, the experience that you're having in your body. A couple more rounds of breath here. Noticing where in your back, where in your torso you might be feeling this, your shoulder. Plant your left hand if you've moved it next to your face once again. Inhale, rise up, counter stretch, reach that right arm back up to the sky. Exhale, plant the hand next to the left. I'll let you switch sides. Inhale, reach the left hand to the sky. Exhale, thread it underneath your right, resting onto your left side of your face. Same options with your right hand and arm can stay planted next to your face, can extend out long up in front of you, or wrap around your low back. And then just checking in again with those hips to see if they've kicked over to the right, if you can recenter them so that your hips are aligned. Getting into the sides, getting into the shoulders. You took an arm variation, plant your right hand next to your face once again. Inhale, rise up, take that counter stretch. And then exhale, release the left hand down to meet the right. Shift your hips back, coming into child's pose. Release your forehead to the earth. Arms can be extended out long in front of you, or they can come down to the side, clasping onto your heels. As a reminder, this is your pose for pause, for those moments where you are out of breath and need to reconnect. Or it's also an important pose for introspection. So something that may have come up for you in practice, your permission to come here and pause to look at that a little bit more. And when you're ready, tuck your toes, shift your hips up and back, coming into downward facing dog. This is our first down dog, so go ahead and pedal out the feet, wiggle the hips, go through any type of down dog ritual that feels that you normally do. Just kind of waking up the body, waking up the joints, waking up the muscles, getting some of that blood circulating. And then just checking in with this pose, with the alignment of this pose. So hands are about shoulder width apart. You're pressing all 10 fingers firmly into the mat. Your index finger is pointing toward the top of the mat. You're lifting out of your shoulders. Your navel is drawn up into your spine. Your low ribs knitted in, lifting your hips to the sky, finding a slight bend in the knee. Feet are about hips distance apart, and heels are reaching down toward the earth. And then maybe lift all 10 toes and then put them back down. Bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk, step, or jump to the top of the mat, coming into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, palms to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reach the hands to the sky. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Begin to shift weight into your left foot. And we're gonna draw the right foot in, the right knee up to about hips distance, up to hip level. Reach your right arm out to the side like a T and take your left hand. And just like we did in our first stretch, in our supine stretch, we're gonna do the same thing, but we're not gonna actually move anything except for our legs. So drawing that right knee to cross over the left leg. So try and imagine as though you were still laying on the mat. So both shoulders are flat on the mat. The low back would be flat on the mat, and both hip points are still facing toward the top of your mat. Draw the navel into the spine here, really activate the core. Helps you connect a little bit deeper into this stretch, into this movement. Exhale, come back to center. Release your foot down to meet the left, and let's get that on the left side. So shifting your weight over to the right foot. Begin to draw the left knee up to hip level. Reach the left arm out to the side. And with that right hand, guide the left knee over across your body. Staying long and tall in your spine. Draw your navel in. Really activating the core. And your next exhale, release it all back down. Coming back into mountain pose. Inhale, reach your hands to the sky. Exhale with a slight bend in the knees, hinge forward at the hips, coming into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, high plank pose. Shift shoulders over wrists. Lower halfway, chaturanga. And then lower all the way to the mat. Release the tops of the feet down to the mat. Inhale, reach your heart forward, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, cobra pose. Exhale, push up through a strong plank, meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk, step, or jump to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, palms to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reach the hands to the sky. Maybe cactus the arms a little bit here. Reach that heart forward. Exhale, release your hands to heart center. Inhale, reach the hands to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, slight bend in the knees, hinging forward at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, high plank pose. Shift shoulders over wrists, lower halfway, chaturanga. Release all the way to the earth, letting the tops of the feet rest onto the mat. Inhale, reach that heart forward, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, cobra pose. Exhale, pushing up through a strong plank, meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk, step, or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reaching the hands to the sky. Again, maybe try cactusing those arms, enjoying a gentle back bend in the upper part of the back. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach the hands to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, slight bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, palms to shins. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, high plank pose. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower halfway, chaturanga. Option to lower all the way for cobra, or release the tops of the feet and lift your heart up for upward facing dog. Exhale, lift, pushing up through a strong plank, meeting in downward facing dog. We'll do one more round of that sun salutation A. So bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk, step, or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, reach those hands to the sky, cactus the arms. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reaching hands up. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips, coming into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, palms to shins. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, high plank pose. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lowering halfway for chaturanga. Releasing all the way if you'd like to take cobra, or releasing the tops of the feet and then lifting up for upward facing, up dog. Pushing up through a strong plank, meeting in downward facing dog. Reconnect with the breath here. Should be feeling a little bit warmer. Let's go ahead and take a cleansing breath together. So wherever you are in your breath, go ahead and release any of the oxygen that's currently in your lungs. Take a deep inhale, fill up the lungs to the top. Hold it. Open mouth, exhale. Let's do one more of those together. Big, deep inhale, filling up to the top of the lungs. Hold it at the top. Open mouth, exhale. Walk the hands back to meet your feet, coming into a forward fold at the back of the mat. And let's enjoy this forward fold. So you can keep your hands planted on the earth if you'd like to stay here, keeping a slight bend in the knees, allowing your torso to meet your thighs, resting on top of your thighs. So that might mean a deeper bend. Hands can stay planted on the earth if you'd like to keep them on the earth, just making sure that your shoulder blades are sliding down your back, or you can clasp opposite elbows. And just kind of ragdoll here. Release the crown of the head to the earth, let your head be heavy. Maybe swaying from side to side. Maybe even bouncing a little bit up and down. Finding some stillness. If you've clasped opposite elbows, go ahead and release the hands down to the earth. And we're gonna crawl all the way out, coming into a hovering tabletop. So holding your knees, you're gonna be about an inch off of the earth. I'm gonna hold here for a moment. And then exhale, we're gonna shift the hips back, coming into bear pose. So keeping your knees hovering off the earth. Inhale. And on your next exhale, for as long as you can, keeping those knees hovering, walk your hands back and now come into your forward fold once again at the back of the mat. Exhale, walk your hands back out, coming into that hovering tabletop once again. Shifting the hips back, bear pose. And walking the hands back to the back of the mat, forward fold. We'll do that one more time. Walking the hands out, coming into hovering tabletop. Shift the hips back, bear pose. Take an inhale. Exhale, walk the hands back to meet your feet, forward fold. Crawling all the way out, once again, coming into high plank pose. Release the right knee to the earth and kickstand your right foot out to the side, and then open up your torso to the left side of the mat, spinning onto the knife edge side of your left foot. Opening that torso up, reaching your left hand to the sky, side plank here. Pressing your hips forward, checking in with your hand placement, making sure that your wrist is stacked below shoulder or maybe a little bit further out. Pressing firmly into that hand, making sure that you're not locking out that elbow, and then lifting out of your shoulder. So no dumping or sinking into that shoulder. So it's very strong. We're strong and active here. Option to challenge your balance. If you'd like to stay here, you can keep your right knee to the earth, or you can lift your right foot up to meet the left, coming into full side plank. So really reaching that left hip up to the sky.
Inhale, draw the left knee into the chest, and then exhale, rotate forward, planting the left foot beneath, next to the right hand. Inhale, reach the left hand to the sky, so low twisted lunge. Sink a little deeper into that left leg. Inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, we're gonna step all the way up. Right foot is gonna plant next to the left. We're gonna inhale, come up to chair pose. Bringing hands to heart center. And we're gonna twist this chair. So without hooking, we're gonna, just like we, we're gonna turn our torso to the right. So hands are at heart center, and we're just turning the torso. So this might not look as deep as your normal twist, right? When we hook and twist. So from here, we're just twisting. All of that strength is coming from our core. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back. Option to take your vinyasa or meet in down dog. So lowering halfway, chaturanga, releasing all the way to the mat, or lifting up to cobra. Exhale, walk the hands back to meet the feet. Walk back out, coming into your hovering tabletop. We're gonna do this 2 more times. Shifting the hips back, bear pose, knees hovering off of the earth. Take an inhale. Exhale, walking those hands back, coming into forward fold. Exhale, walking back out, hovering tabletop. Exhale, shifting the hips back, bear pose. Walking your hands back to meet your feet, forward fold. We'll do that 1 more time. Walk those hands out. Tabletop, hovering tabletop. Exhale, release the shift your hips back. And then exhale, walking those hands back to meet the feet. Go ahead and walk back out, coming into high plank pose. And this time we'll do this on the left. So releasing the left knee down to the earth, kickstand, kicking the left foot behind like a kickstand, spinning onto the right, the knife edge of your right foot, and then opening your torso up to the right side of your mat. Reaching your right hand to the sky. Checking in with your hand, making sure that it's placed underneath your shoulder, or maybe a little bit out in front. Pressing all 5 fingers into the mat, lifting out of the shoulders, and avoiding any locking of the elbow. Option here to take this into full Vashisthasana side plank. So lifting that left foot up to meet the right. Inhale, draw the right knee in toward the chest, and then exhale, step forward, planting that right foot next to the left hand. Inhale, open up that torso and reach that right hand to the sky. And so noticing where this twist is coming from, it's coming from the power, from your center, from your power center. Drawing that navel into your spine deepens the stretch here. Exhale, come back to center, and then step the left foot up to meet the right, and then inhale, chair pose. Hands come to heart center. And we're gonna explore that twist to the left now. So take an inhale, and then exhale, twisting the torso over to the left. Feeling that in your core. So drawing that navel into your spine. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back. Option to take that vinyasa, so shifting forward, lowering halfway for chaturanga, releasing all the way for cobra, or just releasing the tops of the feet and pushing the heart forward for upward dog. Meeting in downward facing dog. Release the knees to the earth. Sit your hips back. Take a child's pose. Reconnect with the breath here. Check in with what's happening in the body. Maybe your thighs are on fire. Maybe your core is on fire. Maybe your shoulders are on fire. You're just on fire. And when you're ready, tuck those toes, lift the hips. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the right heel to the sky. Bend the knee, open the hip, and pause here for just a moment. Notice if any weight has shifted over into the left side and see if you can balance that weight distribution between your left and your right hand. And with that right knee bent, go ahead and circle that knee around the hip. So just getting into that hip joint a little bit. Waking up the synovial fluids a little. Inhale, reach your right heel to the sky. And keeping that leg lifted, we're gonna start to walk back once again. Walking the hands back to meet the left foot this time, coming into our standing split. So really find activation in the leg. Draw the navel in toward the spine. So really activate your core here. Your glutes are fired up and you're lifting that right heel to the sky. Breathe here for a moment. Start to get light on your fingertips, grow long in your spine. Maybe bend the left knee a little. We're gonna come all the way up into maybe warrior three. So the right heel is still reaching out long behind us. Spine is long, you're reaching out through the crown of your head, hands are at heart center. Toes are pointing down toward the earth. Take an inhale, and then exhale. Swing your right knee up to your chest. Hold here for a moment. And then on your next exhale, you're gonna make a large step forward, coming into our high crescent pose. Checking in with our alignment, drawing the right femur bone into the hip socket, lifting that left thigh to the sky, staying high on the ball of the back foot. And then just checking in with those hip points, making sure that both hip points are aligned and facing toward the top of the mat. Shoulders are stacked over hips. Hands are at heart center. Sink a little deeper into that front knee. Draw your arms out to your side like a T. And we're gonna twist to the right. So your arms are gonna stay out just to your side. You're not gonna have them front and back. You want your arms to be a complete extension of your shoulders. So they're not gonna come all the way, they're probably not gonna come all the way out. Sink a little deeper into that right knee. Find the power of the core to twist you a little bit more into that, into this twist. Take an inhale, and then exhale, keeping your arms out to the side. We're gonna open all the way up into warrior two. Spin your palms down to face the earth. Look out over your right fingertip. Sink a little deeper into that right knee. Shoulders still stacked over hips. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Draw your left hand down your left thigh, right arm overhead. Reach your heart to the sky. Find a slight back bend in the upper part of the body, upper chest, your thoracic spine. And then on your next exhale, extended signed angle. Right arm comes down to right thigh. Left hand reaches up overhead. Opening that torso up to the left side. Left hand can come straight up or can come overhead. Sink a little deeper into the right knee. Draw your left shoulder blade down your back, creating space between your shoulder and your left ear. Maybe find some more strength in your core so that you can lift up that right arm. Maybe it comes out to the side, reaching with that left. Your next exhale, come all the way up, straighten your right foot, turn your right toes out toward the left side of the mat, bringing your hands to your hips, grabbing that block and placing the block in front of your face, really. So about center and out in front of your face here. And take an inhale, and then exhale, slowly bend forward, coming into this half wide-legged forward fold. Plant your right hand down onto the block, take an inhale, and then exhale, open your torso up to the left. So this hand placement should give you a little bit of leverage to be able to open up the torso to the left. Option to keep the left hand on the left hip, or you can reach the left hand up overhead. Now, if you do that, be mindful that maybe that the hip isn't kicking out over to the left. You want your hips to be neutral and both hip points facing towards center. Breathing here. Playing with the level of the block if you'd like to try a lower level. Exhale, come back to center and go ahead and release all the way into this forward fold, keeping a slight bend in your knees, allowing your hands to rest on the earth, sliding your shoulder blades down your back, avoiding your shoulders to your earlobes, creating space there. I say this often, these are our moments of introspection, these forward folds. So checking in with the sensations that are happening in your body right now. Staying connected with the breath, letting the breath keep your mind tethered to the present moment. Draw your hands to your hips. Take an inhale, and then on your exhale, slowly rise up, rolling up one vertebrae at a time, allowing your head to come up last. Point your right toes toward the top of the mat. Cartwheel your arms down, planting your hands around your right foot. Step that right foot back, high plank pose. Option to take your vinyasa, lowering halfway for chaturanga. And then option for cobra or up dog. All meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the left heel to the sky. Bend the knee, open the hip, and pause here. Checking in to see if any of the weight has shifted over into the right hand, and see if you can redistribute that weight so that it's evenly between both hands. And then go ahead and rotate that left knee around the left hip, making things up there. Inhale, reach the left heel to the sky. And then exhale, walk your hands back to meet your right foot, coming into standing splits. Drawing that navel into the spine. So again, really activating the core, lifting that left leg to the sky. Your glutes are really on fire here. They're really activated. They're really strong. Holding here. Start to get a little taller on your fingertips, maybe tenting up onto your fingertips, bending into that right knee, bringing hands to heart center, and then lifting up into your warrior three. Right heel extended out long behind you, foot is flexed, spine is long. Breathe. Exhale, rise up, draw that left knee into the chest. Hold here for a moment. And then on your next exhale, step all the way forward, coming into your high crescent pose. Checking in with your alignment. Hands can come to the hips or heart center, plugging that left femur bone into the hip socket, lifting that right thigh to the sky and staying high on the ball of the back foot. Noticing that both hip points are aligned here and facing toward the top of the mat. Shoulders stacked over hips. Spine is long, reaching out through the crown of your head toward the sky. Sink a little deeper into that left knee. Extend your arms out to the side like a T. Take an inhale. And with the strength of your core, twisting over to the left. Breathing here. Draw that navel into the spine. Really feel your abdominals. Really feel your core here. We take another inhale. Exhale, twisting a little bit deeper. Your next exhale, we're going to open all the way up. Warrior two. Shoulders stacked over hips here. Arms are out to the side, extended long out through your shoulder sockets. Palms are facing down and your gaze is out over that left finger, your left middle finger. Check in with your left knee, making sure that it's tractioning center of your foot. So it's not splaying inwards or going too far outward. Make sure that it's center of your foot. Inhale, reverse your warrior, reach the left hand overhead. Allow your right arm to drop down along the back of the right thigh. And on your next exhale, coming into extended side angle. Reaching the right arm overhead, left forearm to left thigh. Maybe get so strong in your core, you can get light on that left hand and reach that left hand up to meet the right. Exhale, come back up. Warrior two, straighten out that left leg. Turn the left toes to the right side of the mat. And then finding that block once again, placing it underneath about your face and center between your legs. Bringing hands to your hips. Exhale, halfway lift. Release the left palm to your block. Take an inhale, and then exhale, rotate that torso open to the right. Again, being mindful that you're about where your hip might kick open. So really trying to keep those hips center and feeling that stretch in the side bodies, your torso. Option for your right hand to reach up to the sky or stay placed on your right hip. Making sure that your shoulders are resting along your back. They're not hunched up toward your ears. On your next exhale, just release everything down to the earth. Allow the crown of your head to be heavy. Finding a slight bend in the knees. If you'd like to get a little bit deeper into the groin here, and you want to heel toe the feet out a little bit wider, keeping the toes pointed toward the right side of the mat. And just letting the crown of the head be heavy. Hands rest on the earth, providing support here. See if you can find some activation still in your core. So drawing the navel into the spine and notice how that changes the sensation of this stretch and the experience in your body. Staying connected with the breath. If you took your stance out wide, go ahead and heel toe your feet back in a little bit more towards center. Draw your hands to your hips, take an inhale. And on your exhale, slowly rise up, one vertebrae at a time, allowing your head to come up last. Turn your left toes toward the front of the mat, and then cartwheel your hands down. Step back, high plank pose. Option to take your vinyasa, lowering halfway, chaturanga, lowering all the way for cobra, or lifting up for up dog. Exhale, meeting in downward facing dog. You guys did it. We did all of the hard stuff. Now let's enjoy a nice cool down. Go ahead and step or walk through, coming onto our backs. Have your block handy, maybe over to the right-hand side. Rolling all the way down onto your back. Bend the knees, let your knees facing up toward the sky. Feet are about hips distance and about a foot or two out in front of your glutes. Your hands are, your arms are long down by your side, hands are planted onto the earth. Start to press your palms and press the backs of the arms into the earth. Take an inhale, press the feet into the earth. Exhale, lift your hips to the sky, coming into bridge pose. So really pressing strong with your feet and with your arms. Maybe nestling your arms in a little bit deeper so that your hands, your palms can clasp. And lifting your heart. See if you can find the bend coming in from your heart. Lifting a little bit more in from those hips, reaching to the sky. Breathing here. And exhale, release everything down to the earth. Heel toe the feet out toward the width of the mat and let your knees come in to rest on one another. Breathe here for a moment. Stay connected with the breath. Heel toe the feet back in so they're rested in the same place, hips distance, about a foot or two out in front of your glutes. And you're gonna grab your block here and either on the medium or low setting, we're gonna place the block underneath our sacrum, our low back. So take an inhale, exhale, really lift the hips, and then slide that block underneath your hips. So it's on that little plate, your pelvis there. You don't want the edge of the block to be digging into your low back. Hands are down by your side. You're welcome to stay here. If you'd like to explore extending your legs out long, one at a time, maybe releasing your right leg out and pausing. Releasing your left leg out to meet the right. Really pressing the low back into your block here. If you've taken a single leg variation, you'll go ahead and switch your other leg. Stay connected to the breath. We only have a couple more poses for Shavasana, so the breath should be a little bit more effortless, but we still want to stay present. We still want to stay connected to it. Inhale, lift the hips, slide the prop out from beneath you, set it off to the side. And exhale, just slowly lower back down to the earth. Reach your legs out long, the length of the mat, and reach your arms up overhead. Pause for a moment. Feeling
Depth of the inhales, reaching into your belly, and the belly releasing on those exhales. Walk your feet over toward the right, so they'll come off of the mat slightly. And then walking your hands over to the right. So keeping your shoulders as they are, but just walking your arms over to the right. And then option 2, take your right foot and cross it over the left, or vice versa. You can take the left heel over the right. Right hand can clasp onto left elbow or left wrist to kind of pull you a little bit deeper into that side body stretch. Sending the breath into your abdomen, into your hip flexors, your thighs, your hip points. Inhale, come back to center, and then shift everything over to the left. So walking the left feet over, walking your feet over to the left, and then walking your arms over to the left. Right foot can cross over left or vice versa. So playing around with that crossing, see which one feels better for you today. And left hand can either grab onto the right elbow or the left wrist. Sending that breath into the side body again. Sending the breath into the abdomen, your obliques, the psoas. Inhale, come back to center. Draw the knees in toward the chest. Clasp your hands, your arms around your shins, and then draw your forehead in toward your knees. We'll take one final breath together. Take a big, deep inhale. Hold it at the top. Open mouth, exhale, release it all. Allow the legs to go down the length of the mat. Feet splay out to the sides. Your hands come down onto the earth, backs of the palms onto the earth. Shimmy your shoulders under. And as per usual, I invite you to stay present with the experiences that are happening in your body instead of drifting off, honoring the work that you've put in your practice today. That is what this pose is for you to revel in the delight and the glory of your work. And I leave you to enjoy this Shavasana. The beauty of practicing via Zoom in our homes means that we can stay and rest in Shavasana for as long as we like. So I invite you to honor what it is that you need this evening. If you would like to stay and rest, please feel free to do that. If you are ready to get going and carry on with the rest of your evening, maybe rolling over onto a side. And when you're ready, coming up and joining me in a seat. Bringing hands to heart center. It is truly an honor to sit in this seat and share this practice with you. Although I sit in the seat as a teacher, I gain so much more as a student, learning from each of you and just having the honor to plan and prepare a practice for us. So thank you for being here. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Namaste.